But I was so upset. I wrote a nice, educated letter to curse the judge out. Like, how is this happening to me? Before I could say anything, before the prosecutor could say anything, my lawyer could say anything, the judge said he's not sentencing me. He's throwing away the plea. This is injustice. There's no evidence to prove he don't care about no guns. It's drugs. He's not a drug dealer. He's a schoolboy. He lived in Connecticut. He lived in the Bronx, and he lived in Orlando. He's been outside of the Bronx for 6 years. I can't do this to him. And the courtroom froze. I mean, I felt so cold. I felt like I was looking at everybody. Like, I just couldn't believe it. And that was like when my life started all over. That moment, my life started all over. Like, I gave up already. I was in the courtroom like this. I was like this. The marshals told me, don't look back behind you or we gonna, I'm like, whatever. I started looking back and talking to my family. I was in jail mode. Like, and he gave me my life back. It was kind of crazy.
Time served, it was the 2 years you waited to be.
He canceled the plea, so I had to go back to jail, wait for another plea. So I thought they was gonna, yes, they put me back in jail. So I waited another 3-4 weeks for another plea, and that's when I took the weed charge because I knew the weed charge the limit of time that you do in jail is 4 to 8 months for weed. So I'm like, I've been here for 2 years, so just give me the weed. That means I should be able to go home. So when I went to cop out again to the weed, he said to the courtroom, like, they letting me out. Everybody just started screaming. Everybody was happy. The prosecutor turned around, came up to me, said, I apologize.
When they arrest you,
and this was when
they lock you up.
Like something was wrong.
And then they basically hold you for so long to the point where you want to cop out just to get out.
Because I was standing there, I didn't know anything else to do to thank him. And I was just like this, and he gave it to me, and I almost passed out. And I've been home ever since.
Is he still on the bench?
I don't know. Like, I wish I could. Like, I just know I can't talk to those type of people. Like, they probably use it against me or something. Like, I can't write him a letter. I can't do anything. But I would really love to thank that man.
Yeah.
Like, no, because.
When you mentioned weed, the fact was that when they listened to your phones, you had a conversation about weed. But they didn't see that you had it, or that you sold it, or that you bought it. Nothing. It was just a conversation, right?
God honest truth, I never got the weed. Like, I was living in Connecticut. Like, if you was talking about an ounce, if you was talking about 1 ounce of weed that the dude on the phone told me, I told him I'm in college. Like, I'm like, bro, I don't think I gotta move around, but I can't do that up there. He like, bro, if you don't sell it, just smoke it. And I'm like, all right, bet. And they used that to give me 200 pounds of weed.
But your life was changed, even though you got your life back. It was drastically changed. You couldn't get a scholarship. You didn't go back to college. You couldn't get a job.
I'm just now like even getting my mentality together, getting my life back together. I just bought a car. I'm about to get an apartment. Like, I'm just now after 2 years. Barely getting it together. I'm trying to get.
This is crazy.
I'm trying.
Guy was in college.
Like, I haven't gotten in trouble.
Somebody offered him some weed over the phone. He gets locked up. Gets a cell.
I was on the basketball team,
and he loses everything.
I was a bad assistant coach. So when they came and got me, I was coaching for the University of Bridgeport. I was in and out of states, Maryland. I was never in the Bronx. I would never go back to the Bronx because I knew how it was. Like, I'm not going there. I can't chase my dreams. Like, it's the cops, they're trying to destroy us, and then you got people that look like us and we kill each other. Like, I don't want to be here. So I left. I thought I was doing the right thing. And then just to wrap it, for me, it's like, if I had all those resources to go to school and get out of the neighborhood and leave the state completely, and I still ended up going down like that, what happens to the kids that live here that don't have that resource? It's over, like, all of them. And I'm telling you that.
It's just, I'm sorry that you're an example of how bad the system is, but I think now you're an example of the cost of it and how hard it is to get back to what life is flowed at. How is your son? You were arrested while the son was there.
Yeah, he was in my bed. He's good now. When I first came home, he was okay, but he was really acting out in school. So I used to have to go to his school like consistently. Like, and I'm like, why are you acting like this? Like, you know, like every time we don't see you acting out. Like it was because of me, and I know that. But I've been here, and I've been with him, been working with him, and that's my heart. Like he always
It affects
my
your
heart.
children,
Like,
your family, your life,
bro, I love you.
everything.
Nobody love you. I do.
This is another black man that's been stereotyped.
So Alex,
just for being black.
What do we learn from this?
2 ways to think about this. One is that, there were some systemic breakdowns in the criminal justice system. Why are prosecutors using these far-reaching RICO charges against young people in this way, in ways that are clearly inappropriate, right? So the prosecutor kind of apologizes to Craig, but the prosecutor never suggested that Craig should get off or that there should be time served, They wanted to go for as much as they thought they could get away with. But the bigger issue, and maybe Craig can speak to both these things in a second, the bigger issue here is that, yeah, there are problems in the Bronx. There's some violence, there's some drug use and drug dealing, but mass incarceration is not the only possible way to address those very real problems. And we can see, even in Craig's case, right, that the punishment is not just to the young person who's arrested and incarcerated, it's to their family, it's to the social fabric of the community. This has far-reaching consequences.
And it's to the next generation and the generation after that, because generation after generation, we blame it on gangs without even a definition of what a gang is, right?
And this talk about gangs is a way of dehumanizing people.
Yeah.
Saying they're the worst of the worst, which was the language that was used, and then we can just write them off. We don't have any obligation to them.
This is what's going on with black men now, all over the nation.
At huge
our sisters are part of it too.
In ways that further the cycle of problems in the community.
I wanted to say something in regards to the prosecutors. I want y'all to understand, like, pre-Pereira, to pre-Pereira, you might have been standing up to Trump, but when they fired him, it was the best thing that could have happened to anyone in my case. For that whole year before Donald Trump was in office, Rachel Maiman was my prosecutor. The prosecutor that apologized to me was not Rachel Maiman, it was a whole new crew. Like, and they all were just sitting there like, how is this, like, what is this? Like, so, and I watch a lot of movies, like I wasn't a lawyer, I didn't make it to a lawyer, but I know for a fact that they have these conversations with the lawyer before they present it to all of us. So they know what's going on, like they had to sit down and ask them, like, yo, we got people in the crowd, you have nothing, like you said he did all of this and now about to sentence him and there's nothing. Like, and they had nothing, no one said anything, the judge just stood up, threw out my plea and left. So, like, Rachel Maiman and the original set of prosecutors were set out to destroy us. The other side of my indictment, now me and Laquan Parrish were best friends. That's the person that was on my wiretap. Laquan Parrish is the top of my indictment, got 16 years. On the other side, you got people just as dangerous getting 7 years, 5 years, 10 years.
You had people under 18 also.
Yeah, they just had turned 18. They waited for them to turn 18 to grab them.
But Alex, and Craig, with all the movement now about the pipeline to prison and the whole massive incarceration, this is just another part of it, isn't it? We're just feeding into it.
Yes, and we know that young people are being targeted by these investigations. We know there are juveniles in the gang database. We know that, as I think we talked about
juveniles in the gang database
in the schools are channeling young people onto the gang database as part of official policy. And this is a completely backward approach.
And why do we have
y'all be careful out there
in the schools?
In the first place, absolutely.
Yeah. I think we're going
to have police in the schools now. Even if you tag graffiti on the table, on the wall, they look at it like gang activity, and you can be actually arrested for that.
There's just no reason it's almost like a macho thing. The police want to show how strong they are.